Vietnam's beer market is absolutely exploding. For global brewers, it's a total gold rush, with millions of people eager for a cold one. But behind all that foam and celebration, there's a really serious conflict brewing over the true cost of this national thirst. So let's get into it. Let's explore the battle for the future of beer in Vietnam.
To really get a sense of the stakes here, you just need to know this one number. Global giants like Carlsberg, they aren't just some small fish in a big pond. They are a top 4 player in one of the most exciting beer markets on the entire planet. This is not a niche play for them, it's a massive core part of their global strategy.
All right, so first, let's look at the story from the industry's point of view. For these huge international brewers, Vietnam is a land of incredible opportunity. It's a critical market they are all racing to capture. Hey, this isn't some new fad. Just take a look at Carlsberg's journey. They first set up shop in Vietnam way back in 1993. For 3 decades, they've been steadily building their presence, launching major brands, and really digging in their heels. This timeline shows you they are in it for the long haul. This is a serious, long-term commitment.
And it's not just the Europeans getting in on the action. Japanese brewers see the exact same potential. Sapporo made a huge statement when they built the very first brewery in Vietnam by a Japanese company. That move basically signaled to everyone that they plan on being a major local producer.
The direction of travel here is what's really important. This data from Sapporo shows not just where the market has been, but where it's expected to go, and it's all pointing up. The market isn't just big, it's getting bigger. And that, right there, is why it's ground zero for this global gold rush.
So what's fueling all this growth? Well, a really crucial part of it is a trend called premiumization. As people in Vietnam make more money, they're not just drinking more beer, they're drinking better beer. They're trading up, moving from the basic economy stuff to the more premium brands. And for the industry, that's where the real money is.
But okay, that's only one side of the coin. As this gold rush has gotten faster and bigger, a much more sobering counter-narrative has started to take hold, one that's all about the serious public health costs that come with it. This quote from the World Bank, man, it just sets a totally different tone, doesn't it? It signals that major international health organizations are paying very close attention, and frankly, they are deeply concerned about what all this increased drinking means for society and public health. And when you look at the numbers, wow, they're just stark. Vietnam's rates of death and disease linked to alcohol are already higher than its neighbors. Over half of high school students have tried alcohol, and get this, a staggering 44% of them had their first drink before they were even 14 years old. These aren't just statistics, They represent really deep, profound social consequences. So, facing this growing crisis, the Vietnamese government has decided to pull its most powerful lever, the main tool it has to try and slow things down. The plan is actually pretty straightforward. Make beer more expensive. The government is proposing a major hike in what's called the special consumption tax, and it's aimed squarely at beer and other alcoholic drinks.
And listen, this is not a small tweak. The proposal lays out a really aggressive timeline. The tax would jump from 65% now to 80% in 2026, and then all the way up to 100% by 2030. A change that big is absolutely designed to send a shockwave through the whole industry.
So, how are these massive global companies responding to what is basically an existential threat to their business in Vietnam? Well, they're definitely not just sitting on their hands. They've got a pretty sophisticated playbook for dealing with this new reality. The first strategy, and maybe the most important, is to adapt. Instead of just fighting against the market changes, they're evolving their brands to fit new consumer tastes and this whole new regulatory world. The story of the Halida brand is just a perfect case study. Okay, so after 5 straight years of sales going down in that low-cost category, they went back to the drawing board. They did their homework, found out that consumers wanted a beer that was more refreshing, more easy drinking. So they gave the iconic elephant logo a modern makeover, redesigned the can, and repositioned the entire brand to appeal to a younger, more modern crowd.
And the result? In the very first year after that big change, Halida's sales volume jumped by 15%. It just goes to show that smart adaptation and elevating your brand can really work, even when the market gets tough.
All right, the second major strategy is less about the product itself and more about perception. These brewers are working really hard to show that they're responsible corporate citizens, building goodwill with a strong story about sustainability. Carlsberg's report card here is pretty extensive. They've been named a top sustainable business, they run one of the most water-efficient breweries in all of Asia, and they've got major community programs providing clean water to thousands of families. They also make a point to highlight their commitment to diversity, with 40% of their leadership jobs held by women. See, this is all designed to build a positive story that says, hey, we're more than just beer. So this brings us right back to this central conflict, this unsettled tab. On one side, you've got massive economic investment and growth. And on the other, you have a very serious public health crisis.
The question is, how on earth do you balance the two?
And you can really see the tug of war right here. The government wants to use taxes to slow down drinking and raise money for health programs. The industry is afraid those exact same taxes will crush consumer demand, kill their revenue, and cause a ripple effect of job losses across all kinds of related sectors, like packaging, transport, and even tourism.
And this isn't just some abstract fear they talk about in a boardroom. This quote from an industry leader at Saigon Beer really puts a human face on it. The word he uses, anxious, I think that perfectly captures the mood inside the industry as they wait to see how all this is going to play out.
And here's the industry's key counter-argument. They're warning that making legal, regulated beer super expensive won't actually stop people from drinking. It'll just push them toward the unmanaged, informal market. And with that market already accounting for a massive 63% of all alcohol consumed, they argue that high taxes could actually make the public health crisis worse by driving people to unregulated and maybe even unsafe products.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question. It is a super high-stakes balancing act. You got billions of dollars and the well-being of an entire nation hanging in the balance. Can Vietnam figure out a policy that actually protects public health without completely killing one of its most dynamic industries? That is the billion-dollar question that is still very much up in the air.